Good morning, Meagan. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's really great to see you. For those that don't know, Meagan is here today to talk about mental health awareness, and she is an Ending the Silence presenter. She also sits on the board of directors for NAMI Piedmont Tri-County. So thank you for joining us, Meagan. Do you want to just get started and tell us your story?
Absolutely. So like she said, my name is Meagan, and I volunteer with Ending the Silence here at NAMI. I got on the board about a year ago, and that's when I found out for the first time about Ending the Silence. It's where they go into high schools and they talk about mental health, the different signs and symptoms, and then they have a young adult presenter share their story, and that's where I get to come in. I get to share my history with some depression and anxiety and just talk to them about how I got help. And I think that's probably the most rewarding part of doing Ending the Silence, because if I had heard that in high school, maybe I would have gotten help a little bit sooner. Maybe I wouldn't felt like I was crazy, like some people might have thought. And it's cool to sit in front of them and say, this is okay. You can get help. There is life on the other side, and there's a way to live and it be good. And I think that's probably the most rewarding part of Ending the Silence for me.
Okay. So when you say that you were struggling in high school yourself. So what was that like for you? We're talking about ending the stigma during Mental Health Awareness Month. We're talking about ending the silence and letting people know that they're not alone. So how was you, not necessarily the depression, but how was it having that in high school? How did that manifest and how did it affect your life in high school?
So in high school, I just always felt kind of different. I never felt like I fully fit in, and that caused me a lot of anxiety. There were some childhood reasons why I would feel different, but at that point I had no clue why I felt so different, why I felt like I didn't fit in. So that created this perfectionist in me. Like I was going to be the kindest person. I was going to be the best friend. I was going to be the best student. I was going to be the best at everything. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a high schooler. So, and I was doing it to myself. And I just still, after feeling that, you just never feel good enough. You feel different, not good enough. And at some point that just starts really wearing on you.
So who first recognized those signs for you? Was it something that you thought, well, this is a problem and I should reach out? Or was it somebody in your life that finally figured out that you were struggling and helped you get where you needed to be?
So for me, I actually had a lot of physical symptoms of my anxiety. It really messed up my stomach. I had heartburn constantly, which is not normal for a teenager.
Right.
And it kept going until college before I kind of started seeing doctors going, why is my stomach upset? Why can't I keep food down? What's going on? And after seeing so many doctors and them all saying everything's physically fine with you, that's when I started realizing maybe I should talk to a counselor and see if this could be the point. So I definitely think it was something I started realizing. I know people around me saw the signs, but I just don't think anybody was educated enough around me to say, hey, I think you're struggling with something. You need some help.
That's really interesting. So you basically went through high school struggling with this by yourself. So we know that it takes an average of 8 to 12 years to get a diagnosis for a mental health condition. Do you have any kind of idea as to why that would have taken so long for you? Was it because you were embarrassed, or because you were shy, or because you just didn't recognize that it was the signs of a mental health problem?
I just don't think I recognized it. It was just unexplainable. And you just want this physical diagnosis. You want somebody to say, you have IBS or you have diabetes. You want this physical diagnosis. No one wants to hear a diagnosis of a mental health condition at that point, because there is still such a stigma about it. But once you kind of get to the end of your road, you got to do something.
Right, you got to reach out. So now we know that you're successfully living in recovery, and we know that recovery doesn't mean that poof, it's gone. We know that recovery means that we still have to manage a lot of our big symptoms when they come up and things happen in our life. We have to manage those. But you're obviously doing really well in your life right now. Can you tell us what changed for you and how your journey began to the healing and recovery?
Absolutely. So I think it was about after college, I kind of hit like a breaking point. I had been seeing counselors in and out of college and into my career. And I think that was when I just kind of broke. I had to get some more professional help. I started seeing a counselor that actually really challenged me to take control of what was going on and really wanted to dive into why I felt the way I felt. instead of just trying to like put a band-aid on a situation. So once I started actually understanding why I thought the way I thought, why I feel the way I feel, it was a little bit easier to kind of rationalize some of those emotions for me, to say, okay, you're having this reaction because of this. What can we do? And that's when I started learning more coping mechanisms and just practicing my voice. Saying to people, I'm struggling, was the biggest help because everybody rallied around me. I was never alone if I didn't need to be alone. And once people knew, I felt like it was so much easier because people have connections. They can try and help you. They can get you to the right place. So once I started talking about it with people and actually being honest, I think that's when it started turning around for me, that I can do something, that people are there to help me.
That's phenomenal. I mean, that's what we hope for everybody, right? That they can reach out and find the right person who can lead them to the right help at the right time. So just in closing, is there anything that you could offer for somebody who is in high school or maybe even an adult, but they are struggling with these random weird symptoms? They know there's something wrong. Where would you suggest that they would start if they were you? Where did you begin?
I began mostly at the hospital and just friends. The hospital has a whole list of people. I didn't know about NAMI back then, but if I did know about NAMI back then, I would definitely start with NAMI because the list of resources we have to get people to is extensive. So I think going back 6-7 years ago, I definitely would have called NAMI first because they're there, they care, they understand, and have people that are going to put in that time to help you get to where you need to be.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I super appreciate you coming on. Again, thank you for sharing your journey. We know that it's never easy to just open up your life and let people in. But we hope that during this series of Mental Health Awareness Month videos, we help people kind of get to an understanding that recovery is possible and they are not alone and there are people that can help them. So thank you so much, Meagan.
Thank you.